Hi everyone, and welcome to another video of Terraform. My name is Tia from DevOps Easy Learning, and today we'll be going through Terraform Console Part 1. Why this is Part 1? Just because I kind of have multiple videos that I'm going to be showing out there for Terraform Console, right? What is Terraform Console? Terraform Console is just a little tool that allows us to evaluate some Terraform expression before you can use that in your code. I know back in the day when I myself was still kind of struggling with Terraform, what happened is that I didn't really know how to evaluate some expression before I use. Even at work, sometimes I can see some Terraform expression, but I don't really understand I don't understand what those expression means, and I don't really know how to evaluate those and test and see the result, right? And down the line, I basically learn also this tool called Terraform Console, and it helped me a lot to understand Terraform. And also, if you are a beginner, please make sure that you evaluate your expression using Terraform Console. If you hit on this little gear icon here, it is going to take me to my GitHub repository, and I also make sure that I put the link of this GitHub repository to the description of this video, right? So that if you want to go ahead and perform exactly what I will be doing, you are more than welcome to do so. We have just one little example here, and this example will be using something like giving a condition in Terraform, and we'll see how we can evaluate this through Terraform Console. Now, I don't kind of like to work on GitHub here. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to kind of check out this repository local, and I have it already. I've cloned it already, and what I'm going to do is just to open it. I will navigate to the specific path where I have it already, and I'm going to open that, right? And we'll see the code through VS Code. Now, let me copy this, and I'll go ahead here and open my terminal. I am right here. If you tap PWD, in that repository already. And I can, as you guys can see, I have Terraform Console. And if you check here on GitHub, you guys will see Terraform Console. What I'm going to do is what I will just hit code here and make sure that I open this thing in VS Code. Code, and I'll open it in VS Code. Now, the one that will be working with it is just the first one, Terraform with condition. And let me just close this pop-up. Here, I have just a simple variable file here where I basically define. And this little example, it's something that I customized, right? And use to build an EKS cluster where I can have a blue-green mechanism, right? So that I can deploy a blue node group and also a green node group. And this really helps a lot when you have like an EKS cluster upgrade. Let's say your workload, it is on maybe a blue node group. You can also bring up a green node group, make sure that you do whatever you want to do, and you can just go ahead and flip everything, and boom, you are already done, right? If you guys want to kind of know how to use this stuff, please let me know in the comment below, and I'll go ahead and get some video ready for EKS, and I'll go ahead and shoot that video so that you guys will see how I'm going to use those to set the auto scaling, that I mean to set the max and the min node and create a blue and a green node group. Now, I have here a blue node group, and I basically set the default to be blue, and I have the green node color. This is a node color, and I set the default here to green, and I have here the min size. I have the min size, which is 1, the max size, which is 1, and this comes within the auto scaling group, and I have the desired node, and here the default also is 1. And I have another variable here that I set to as a variable blue. It is a Boolean value, and the default here is true. Another variable here called green, the default here is called false. Now, let me first of all open this one in new integrated terminal. That means it will just open it straight right here. And if you tap PWD to check the path, as you guys can see, I am in condition and example 1, which is cool. That means I am exactly where this code is. I'll first of all tap Terraform init. Terraform init, I'll just initialize this, and that is good. And I will go ahead here and gonna use the Terraform console command to jump in there. Let me type Terraform, and I will say console. And that is the Terraform console prompt. It is waiting that I should kind of put some expression here to evaluate. Now, let me go into this README file. This one here, it is basically the expression that we want to evaluate. And what is it saying here? Let me also open this one here to the side so that we see, or not really this one. I want to open the main to the side and make sure that I close this a little bit to have space. And we'll be checking here. I'm seeing here that var dot, because sometime when you are working within your auto-scaling group, you might have something called a desire node, maybe a desire node. You might have like a desire, a node min, node max, and a desire. For instance, this might be equal to this one here. You want to have what? Within the auto-scaling group, you want to have this. If you paste it here, you want to have the node marks. What will be the value of this? We're trying to evaluate that. We want to have the node mean. What will be the mean node that you want, for instance? And here we're saying that we want to have the desire node. What should be the desire node that you want to be up, for instance? Paste this here. And these are the values that we want to evaluate this based on condition, and see if this will be 1, it will be 0, or what based on this condition here. I'm seeing here that var dot green node, and you guys can see here that I'm using 2n%. The 2n% mean and if you're somebody who kind of study something like any programming language or a bash script, you will see that if you want to compare, let's say you are going to Bank of America and you want to kind of sign into your account. And let's say behind, they kind of put a condition that before you open your account, you must provide the right 4-digit of your social security, and also your email should be correct. Your first name and last name should be correct. What does this mean? That means your last 4 digits should be correct. Your email should be correct. Your first name and your last name should be correct. If one of this information is wrong, it will give you access denied. Behind the scene, they will be using an. If the social security is correct and the first name is correct, the email is correct, the last name is correct, yes, go ahead and grant access. If one of this information is not correct, do not grant access, right? And there's another one called an OR operator, when one or more of this information should be correct, either the social security and the first name, or just the social security, last 4 digits, or the first name, last name, and the email, and so on. But at least one should be correct. Now, this is what I'm going to use to evaluate that. I'm saying var.green color. What is var.green color? Var.green color, it is this one. If it is equal to green, which is right now in this case, it is green, what are we going to do? And also var.green. If var.green is set to true, let us see var.green. If var.green is set to true, right now it is set to false. What will happen? We want the desired node. If this condition is true, that means if the whole condition is true, we want the desired node to be var.desired node. And what is the desired node here? The desired node here is 1. If this condition is not true, the desired node should be 0. So far here, the condition is not true. Why? Because the var.node color, it is green. This is true. And var.green is not true. Why? Because the Boolean value here is false. If the Boolean value here was true, that means this condition is true. If this condition is true, return this one. If the condition is not true, return this one. And that is why it is going to return this instead. That is why it's going to return 0 instead. Let us go ahead and test that. That means if you copy this and trying to go to the console, paste this here, and evaluate the expression. As you guys can see, it returns 0, and that is correct. It returns 0. That is correct. That means the desired node here should be 0. Now, in case we change this, and we put this into true, what will happen now? If we put this as true and save it, and try to evaluate the same expression, copy this and evaluate the same expression, paste, and hit enter, it still gives me 0 though, but this one is not true. What you should do is that you should exit out of Terraform console because you make some modification, and you jump in again and you paste that. If you paste that and evaluate the expression, you should be seeing 1, which is correct. Why? Because the var.node color is equal to green. As you guys can see here, the var.node color, var.node color is equal to green. The var.green node color, var.green node color is equal to green, which is true. Also, the var.green is true. If we check here, you guys can see here that the var.green now is true, and that is why it basically return 1. And if we change this, for instance, and say, if this is true, instead of the desired node being 1, let us set the desired node to be 10 node. And I can save this. If I save this, I just need to exit again because I make some modification. I need to exit out of this and come back again to Terraform console and try to evaluate the same expression. You guys will see that the icon now will be 10. The icon now will be 10. If I paste it here and hit enter, we have one error. Let me go back again and I'll type Terraform console. Yep, I copy everything. This is the only thing that we need to evaluate. If I paste it right here, hit enter, the result should be 10, and that is correct. And the same way, right? I use the same thing apply for everything that you guys are seeing here. You can go ahead and play with all this on your own, but I am not going to move on because if you understand the one that I did here, everything here, it is the same, and you can just copy. You go ahead and evaluate that, and when you want to evaluate, make sure that everything looks good. Let me also evaluate one here before I will kind of stop there. Let me evaluate this one. I'll evaluate the last one, especially this one. We will have a node marks because that is a little bit different because I'm having var.node marks and var.node marks. Here I'm saying node marks equal. I say here, var.green node color is equal to green. That is correct. Do we have var.green? It's equal to true. That is correct. What is it going to print? It is going to print var.node marks, also print var.node marks. Why? Because when you launch, let's say you launch an EKS cluster within the auto-scaling group. If you want to create a node group with no node in there, you need to make sure that the desire is 0 and also the mean is 0. But you cannot go ahead and set the marks to 0, right? AWS will not allow you. That is why in case that I want to set this to 0, I want to set the desire to 0 and also the mean to 0 so that it will create a node group with any node running in there. I need to make sure that I set the desire to be something. I need to make sure that I set the marks to be something, right? At least 1 or 2 so that AWS will allow me because there will be no node running. And that is why you guys can see I'm saying var.no marks and also var.no marks. No matter what you are going to put here, if it is true, it will use this. If it is false, it is going to use this and it's going to pull the node marks, which is actually this one right here. Like I said, if you guys want to know how I basically use this one to put up an EKS cluster in AWS with a node group mechanism, with a blue and green node group mechanism, please let me know in the description below, and I will go ahead and kind of put a video together where we use this example here to launch an EKS with 2 node group, and we can use that to do a lot of stuff. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, right? So that when we publish a new video, you will be notified. And also, please make sure that you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Thank you. Bye-bye.